In this video, we're going to be discussing the LGBTQ movement in China. Along with the LGBTQ movement in China, we'll be comparing and contrasting experiences of discrimination as well as advocating for human rights. If you're working with a friend, I'd like you to take a couple minutes, pause the video here, and consider what LGBTQ stands for. What does each letter mean? If you're not sure, you can finish and skip ahead to the next slide. First, L, lesbian. This word means that a woman is attracted to another woman sexually or romantically. Next is the letter G. G stands for the word gay. Gay can be both male attraction to male as well as female attraction to female. Interesting thing about the word gay is that it also means happy, right? Next is B for bisexual. Bisexual refers to a person who is romantically attracted to people of both sexes, male and female. T stands for transgender. Transgender refers to a person whose sex does not match their identity. And we're going to talk more about this idea in a moment. So even though it seems a little bit confusing, take a pause and move on to the next slide after the last letter, Q. Q has a denotation and a connotation. Its denotation is not the same as what we're referring to in this particular case. Queer stands as an umbrella term for any LGBT member who does not identify with the traditional letters of the acronym. Basically, anyone who is not just a lesbian or just a gay or just bisexual or just a trans. Earlier I mentioned ideas regarding sex and gender identity. We're going to be talking about that now. I would like you to talk to somebody around you who is also watching this video, or take a few minutes to consider by yourself what the differences are between biological sex, gender identity, and sexual orientation. Hopefully you've taken some time to think about or consider or possibly even verbally discuss with a partner what the differences are between biological sex, gender identity, and sexual orientation. To begin, biological sex occurs at birth. This is the sex that people are assigned to based on their physical anatomy. A male has a penis, a female has a vagina and breasts. These are biological differences that create sex. Gender identity is still very much a hot topic in our society. In the 21st century, we find that there is a lot more openness towards accepting different gender identities. There are people who feel that they have the biological sex of a male or a female, but then feel the opposite to what they are assigned to at biological birth. This can create some confusion or probably even some difficulties as they're growing up and trying to figure out where they identify within their social circles. The last is sexual orientation. This refers to the type of romantic attraction that a person has to another individual. For example, a lesbian's sexual orientation is lesbian. This refers to the romantic attraction from one woman to another. Homosexuality could be called a sexual orientation. Heterosexuality is a sexual orientation. It's important to remember that when we're sharing our opinions, there are other people around us listening. Whether it's intentional or not, the things that we say, if not carefully stated or remembered that these are sensitive topics, could in fact bother somebody or upset somebody without it meaning to be. In front of you now, you have a map. We're going to be putting these ideas to practice and through discussion. You can reflect quietly by yourself, or you can talk to a partner who is watching the video with you. Please note that green represents countries that do not criminalize and are very accepting of all sexual orientations. Please keep in mind that the yellow countries are countries that are fairly accepting but still have some resignations in regards to accepting different sexual orientations. Red is fairly self-explanatory. Sexual orientations are criminalized if they are not heterosexual. So take a moment right now and make a remark about what you see, what you recognize. To put it simply, there are no jokes in this unit. We can share some small laughter over appropriate jokes, but we do not joke and laugh at the expense of others or the people who we discuss in our unit materials. Please keep that in mind. Act maturely, or there will be severe consequences upheld by not only your teacher, but the administrators like the principals and ECs. If needed, you will be removed from class and put into the resource room or success room. This is where students will be placed if they cannot participate regarding the class materials. They will be given alternative resources and asked to return to class on the day that we end our unit or sensitive topics. So remember, one final thought, be respectful throughout this unit and it'll be enjoyable.